Sinn Féin, Deputy O'Reilly.
Thank you. I'm sharing with my colleague Deputy O'Quailon 5 and 5. And you will actually get the 5. So I want to start just by thanking those women and their families who came forward, and by reminding the House that the state wanted Vicky Phelan to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So any duty of candour or anything, it was the non-disclosure agreement was resisted, and because that non-disclosure agreement was resisted, information came into the public domain, which now everybody says that, of course, we're all in favour of all of that information always being in the public domain. But let's be under no illusions, the outcome of that court case could have been very different, could have been a secret, and we may never have had the opportunity to have the conversations that we have had. So with regard to the secrecy that was requested, it is a testament to that woman and her family that we have that information now in the public domain. And the fact that women still continue to go to court, I suppose, is testament to the fact that not everything that was promised was delivered on. Minister, I did speak to you yesterday on this matter, and you did elaborate on the situation in some detail, and I'm conscious that there may be a certain amount of crossover, but I don't think that will do any harm. On the 5th of December, you told us that you were informed by the Department of Health that this issue had arisen and that the HSE was establishing the facts. You then received subsequent interim updates pending the completion of the work of the expert clinical team and the final confirmation. But as I said yesterday, the National Association of General Practitioners wrote to you to outline the backlog in August of last year, and that letter was a fairly strongly worded letter that came from Matthew O'Toole of the NAGP. But it doesn't appear that the department or your office acted on the concerns that were raised therein, because there's 4 months in the difference between when they wrote to you and when you advised that you had this matter in hand. With regard to the backlog, I'd be interested in hearing what work you and your department did to proactively ensure that a backlog didn't build up. So we know that on average the service tests 230,000 smears each year. The extra tests added a 90 to 100,000, so that's about a 43% increase. Did you speak to the labs at any stage? Did you find out if the additional capacity was going to be there? Because we know that, you referred to it earlier, that, I think it was maybe yesterday, the Jade Goody effect. So once you raise awareness of an issue like cervical cancer, not even withstanding the problems, once the issue is raised in that way, demand is going to go up. So that was already known, and yet it does appear that no work was done in terms of ensuring that the capacity existed, when it was very easy to see that there was going to be an increase in demand, that no work was done to ensure that the extra capacity was added, because extra capacity was going to have to be needed. And it's not good enough, Minister, to say there's a worldwide shortage of cytology practitioners, because realistically speaking, that's information that you could and should have had before you made that promise and before you made that commitment. And I want to be clear, we agreed that guaranteeing free smear tests for all women was a good idea, but it's not up to us in opposition to ensure that the conversations take place to make sure that the capacity is there. We did agree it was a good idea. It was a good idea. Getting screened is a good idea. Getting your smear test is a good idea. Having confidence in your smear test is also absolutely imperative. And public confidence in the screening programme has been knocked. And I say this, and I said it yesterday, and I will continue to say it. Screening saves lives. But what happened now has further diminished the confidence that women are entitled to have in their screening service. And my belief is that that happened for no good reason, because the conversation should have happened in terms of capacity. And God knows we talk enough about capacity and the lack thereof and the fact that some of it might be coming and all the rest of it. We talk about capacity all the time. So we knew that and you must have known, the Jade Goody effect, whatever name you want to put on it, demand was going to increase, but the conversation does not appear to have taken place in terms of ensuring that that capacity was put into the system. So, Minister, I have spoken to you previously about the outsourcing of the smear tests, and I want to find out from you how many slides have left the state, because we know that some went to Honolulu when they were supposed to be going to Texas. So are there any plans, is there any work to repatriate that work and to ensure that those tests are done here in this state? And we want to know how we can ensure that what is the backlog now can be dealt with, and that women can have their smears done in a timely way and tested in a timely way. And Minister, I know we'll have a chance for questions and answers later, but that's the flavour of the questions I will be asking.